Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios. This is the Ramsey Show. It's where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life, your money, your relationships, your work, your dreams. I'm Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, and joined by fellow Ramsey personality, George Camel. Coleman and Camel with you.
Never thought about it like that.
Yeah, I like the alliteration. It sounds good, feels good. George is here to answer all your money questions, and I'll dive in on that and work questions. We've said for decades that your income is your greatest wealth-building tool, and I specialize as a Ramsey personality in helping you make more money and experience more meaning. So income and impact, so we team up together. We always have fun together.
We've been known as the most fun you can have on radio.
Is that right? And I do know that we got a review James shared with us last time that one listener compared us to a root beer float.
That's right.
That the ice cream is good on its own, the root beer good on its own. When you put them together, it's even better. And so we've argued behind the scenes as to which one of us is the root beer and which one of us is the vanilla ice cream.
I want to be the root beer. I want to be a little spicy.
George, we don't get to decide. Only the listener and the viewer decides that. But let's get to it, shall we? Are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, Jonathan is up first in Salt Lake City, Utah. Jonathan, how can we help today?
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
You bet. What's up?
So, a little background. I'm a medical provider. I work in urgent care. So, obviously, I went and did the college thing. And during that process, accumulated a lot of student debt. The total damage was $320,000.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Was this like MD? What was this? What'd you end up with?
Actually, a PA.
Wow.
So...
Did you do you still have the debt?
So over the past year, I've knocked it down to $92,000.
Nice work.
Whoa,
nice work.
And yeah, that's part of that is kind of the question. I've had this side gig, this side business for years and years. I actually went through college teaching anatomy on the side. And so we had this little side anatomy lab that I was working at while in school, and it kind of just putted along and kind of did its thing for a while. I mean, it was somewhat profitable, but we decided to go onto social media, I think at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020, created a YouTube channel, and it just went nuts after that. And so what's happened is technically I'm on baby step 2 still here, but this is taking more and more and more of my time to the point where I've gone down to about 20 hours a week as in my medical provider job in the urgent care. And there's this constant pull to just say, you know what, I need to go off of and go full bore into this side gig. I think there's just a lot of fear on my end as far as
how much. All right, I'll tell you what we're going to do. George and I are going to walk you through some facts instead of focusing on your fear. All right. So how much money are you making off the YouTube channel?
Oh, geez. That one's a little challenging, I think, because that's part of the fear because YouTube fluctuates a little bit.
Why is it challenging? I mean, you can look and see what you're
What's
making.
your worst month? What's your best month? And what's the average?
I think the average, because I have a business partner, and obviously we have employees and things like that, but my taxes for last year were, I think, about close to $300,000.
Wow. That's what you made. Is that what you personally made?
Yeah.
Off of this YouTube business.
Well, that was with with my provider, medical provider
but
job.
I know, but I didn't ask you that. I want to know how much you are making. What are you paying yourself off of this YouTube channel?
Well, probably around that, $200 to $300 a year, based on a little bit comes out and just mostly draws. I don't take much of a salary every month. We kind of decide, me and my business partner, at the end of each quarter or the end of each year, where that's going.
I'm still
made more this year than we.
Okay, I'm still confused. So let's. What are you making as a PA right now? What are you making?
So as a PA, I make about $80,000 just because I'm doing the 20 hours a week.
Okay, and so now you're on track to make $200,000 or $300,000, give or take, $100,000 on YouTube. Yeah. Okay. So you're clearly making more on YouTube. You are paying yourself more from your YouTube channel, a good bit more than you are as a PA. True?
True.
Well, so how much money have you you can make the move now. Or you can say, I'm going to stay in the PA job. I'm going to continue to build the YouTube channel. and grow it. Clearly, the thing has taken off. I mean, that's a serious amount of cash, man. And kudos to you. So it's really your call here. We want you to pay off the debt. So maybe you stay in the PA position and keep double earning there until you knock out the debt and get through baby step 3 and get the emergency fund in full, 3 or 6 months, and then make the move. But you can make a case, George, that he could do it now. Because you can always go back to being a PA. If for some reason you start sucking with all the YouTube videos,
YouTube changes its algorithm, and all of a sudden you're making half of that. But even then, you're still making $150,000 a year from YouTube alone. And so once this debt is knocked out, your expenses are way down. You've been living on less than you make, clearly, to get this debt knocked out. Yeah. So I like the plan because you said the fear is coming into play of sticking with the PA job at 20 hours a week, knocking out the debt, getting a fully funded emergency fund of 6 months. And then it's not a leap. You're just taking a soft little step off the dock there onto the boat. Yeah.
Okay.
How's that feel?
It feels pretty good. I mean, I think my biggest issue there's growth that can happen in the YouTube channel because we're going into other, obviously, social media platforms and things like that. And so the battle is always just, I can do this faster if I have 20 more hours that I can just dump into, the job. But it's an irrational fear. I understand that. It's like people in my life have said, you can always go back to being a PA.
That's what I just said. I literally just said that. So I don't think this is risky either way.
Okay.
We told you the safe plan. George and I agree on the safer play. Can I ask, and I don't want this to be a big endorsement, so if you turn it into one, I'll cut you off, but I'm just curious. Are you teaching about anatomy on YouTube? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, we started our own private cadaver lab because, that's a normal thing to do.
Oh my gosh. So you are working on cadavers on YouTube and teaching anatomy? So people are watching you guys do this? That's what the deal is?
Yeah. So we'll do a video on the heart and how the heart works, and we'll show an actual heart, and obviously we'll use graphics and pictures and stuff like that. It's kind of like the channel to help anybody learn more about their body.
Wow. That is fantastic.
Very cool.
Definitely not want to have a snack while you're watching that.
No, I was just going to say.
I wouldn't.
Well, there's riches in the niches, Ken. And so if you ever think,
What?
Is there, you never heard that before?
Say that again,
There's
please.
Riches in the niches. This guy decided.
Riches in the niches.
I'm going to zoom into this weird little slice of the internet, making a YouTube channel about anatomy, and he's making way more than he does in his full-time job.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
Well, I tell you, George, this is more evidence that higher education and education as we know it is in big trouble. People are going to YouTube to learn this stuff. I mean, it's
more interesting.
It is more interesting.
Jonathan's teaching it instead of your professor.
Oh, by the way, it's free. There's an interesting concept. Wow. All right, George Campbell, Ken Coleman together. This is The Ramsey Show. Don't move. We'll be right back.
If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by my colleague George Camel. We're here for you this hour. It's a free phone call if you want to jump in. 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. George, I know you know this, but it's still pretty impressive. The Ramsey Show has been around for 30 years. We just recently celebrated our 30th anniversary, and we recorded a video panel with all of us knuckleheads, the co-hosts that hang out with Dave. It's like Dave and the Ramseys. If we were a group, right?
Family band.
All of us, we take it on the road. And so all of us, George, myself, John Deloney, Christina, and Rachel, we all got together with Dave and had a fun little sit-down conversation. They caught it with 75 cameras. It was that many.
It felt like a press conference.
Man, it was hot underneath all those lights.
An aggressive amount of cameras.
But it
turned out beautifully. Producer James produced it.
James Childs, our loving producer. He's such a great guy. He produced it, did a lot of work. And there are 4 special episodes on YouTube filled with stories from 3 decades. And you can check it out now on our Ramsey Show YouTube page. So watch the 30th anniversary panel. It hit last week, and go check it out.
If you don't like it, your money back, guaranteed.
Yeah. And
it's free.
If you say something negative in the comments, rest assured of 2 things.
I will read it.
George will read it, and I won't.
That's fine.
George has deep neurosis.
I love it.
And,
it fuels me, Ken.
He loves to read negative things about himself. And,
no, that's
I don't
not
know
it.
why that is.
That's not it at all.
'Cause I think you're great, George.
I enjoy. It's like an exercise in wit to respond with something cheeky. That's what the internet was made for.
This is what you're telling people now. This is why you go into the drudgery and the dregs of society, otherwise known as the comment section. The only people hanging out in the comment section are people that are gassy and unhappy.
Gassy.
Yeah, it's got to be gas. It has to be. Andrew's up next in Syracuse.
Save us, Andrew.
Yes, Andrew is there in Syracuse, New York. Andrew, how can we help?
Oh, hi, Ken. Hi, George. I was just in the studio yesterday, and I appreciate you taking my phone call.
Fantastic. How can we help?
Yeah, so I'm 25 years old. I'm currently on baby step number 3, and I'm looking for a career change. I'm burnt out of my job. I've been applying for jobs and interviewing and also considering a relocation. I currently rent right now. I live alone, and I pay month to month. And I was thinking about moving back home with my parents just to save some money, maybe to save up my emergency fund and hopefully save enough money to make a down payment on a mortgage.
So what would this time period be? How long would that be to accomplish what you just laid out?
So I could theoretically move in with my parents. I could probably pay for next month's rent and then move out in November. And then hopefully I would find a new job within 6 months to a year.
Are you going to keep your current job?
Yeah, for the time being, I will.
Yeah.
Why wait a year to find a new job?
Well, I'm currently looking for a job right now. Hopefully it wouldn't be a year.
Okay.
I think you're answering my question on how long you would live with mom and dad. Somewhere between 6 months to a year. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with it if it helps you save money and it's for a short season. I'm not a fan of you moving back in long term, obviously, and I don't think that's what you're saying. But I've got no problem with that.
What's your rent today?
My rent is about $1,200.
And what's your take-home pay?
I make $44,000.
Okay. And so would you be paying something to mom and dad? What's that going to look like?
Well, I'm an only child. I mean, they wouldn't ask for any money.
That was the answer. I think that's right. I'm the only child. Like, they're going to be thrilled to have you back. Yeah. Well,
have you talked to them about this, or is this going to be a surprise to them?
It might be a little bit of a surprise, but I'm sure they wouldn't mind me moving back in with them for a short period of time.
Yeah, I think as long as it's a short period of time.
You are paying a lot of rent right now comparatively to your take-home pay.
That's correct.
If you are going to stay where you're at, you need to get a roommate in order to speed up your financial goals.
Yes, That's right.
All right. So is that the big question there? Or was there another one about the work?
It sounds like you don't really know what you want to do.
Well, I do and I don't. You know, I work in healthcare. I'm a recreation therapist. I currently work in a memory care facility, and I kind of know it's not for me. But I would like to stay in my field. I'm also a writer. I wrote a book, and I feel like it's a very important book.
So what's the ladder look like for staying in therapy?
Well, currently I'm applying for government jobs and hopefully get into a VA.
Okay.
And I would make a little bit more money, but not a whole lot more money.
So why government and why VA?
Just because it's a better job than where I'm at right now.
Yeah, but I would think that you could do much better in therapy. If I'm understanding the type of therapy that you're doing, it would seem that there's a much better opportunity in the private sector. Am I right?
There could be. It's different things. My job is recreation therapy, so I do sort of leisure-based therapies for people with disabilities to help improve the quality of their lives.
Well, here's what I'm going to challenge you to do. I'm going to challenge you because you said I want to stay in my field, and I would say, yes, that's a good idea to look at therapy in general, but I would go, okay, you got recreational therapy, and what are the limits there? In other words, what are the lids in that occupation? And then let's look at other types of things where there might be some additional qualification that you need to get, but would allow you to climb higher and make more money. I really want to challenge you and push you on this, not just assume, well, I'm going to go work for the government, And again, it's very hard, George, to advance in government work. It just is. I mean, with the private sector, there's much greater opportunity.
The ceiling is a lot higher over there. And making 44 in healthcare in New York, I think you can do a lot better.
A lot better. So we're pushing you a little bit, Andrew.
Because I want to get you in that house. And it's going to take a lot longer making 44 than 84.
I want the bigger shovel is how we use that term. That means more income, and it's fast-forwarding everything. So there you go. Well, George, I don't know if you know, we've got a major hurricane.
Yes,
I mean, it's the
all
only
over the
thing
news.
on the news. Hurricane Ian is, I don't know if it's made landfall. I've been doing a show.
It looks like it's been picking up steam, which is not good as it's making landfall.
Yeah,
so prayers and thoughts for everyone
Category
out there.
4, Category 5, coming back and forth. I don't have the latest as we sit here today, right this moment, but it's making landfall, and a lot of bad reports saying this could happen, and I think it's going to go south of Clearwater, Tampa. But I want to bring up a leadership issue. This is a very interesting story. The CEO of a Florida-based company, by the name of, I had that, Postcard Mania. Okay. Her name is Joy Gendusa, if I'm hooked on phonics. And she's getting a lot of negative media because she told her team just days ago, on Monday, prior to the hurricane coming in, she said, if you want to leave your home, and you're being told to leave your home and you feel like you should and you have no place to go, Postcard Mania is probably the safest place to be in Florida.
Wow. It's a bold claim.
Yeah, given that Florida's a big state. She said, anyway, bring your pets, bring your kids, bring everybody. Obviously, you feeling safe and comfortable is of the utmost importance, but I honestly want to continue to deliver, and I want to have a good end of the quarter, she goes on to say.
Oh, boy.
There's that. We got that P&L situation. She said, this thing is overhyped, and if it doesn't turn out, we'd like to continue our service to the national clients. Bring your kids to work on Tuesday and Wednesday this week. There's always more hype in the media than any storm has ever hit here. Bring your pets if you feel the need. I doubt that you will need them.
Nothing screams productivity like Asher, Aston, and Fido all hanging out at the office with you. That's not going to create any level of chaos.
This is the last line from a Zoom. She says, we are not closing. We are working. She goes, we'll make it super fun for the kids.
This is a nightmare waiting to happen.
Oh, this is horrible.
I hope they live stream it for all of our viewing pleasure.
This is bad bossery. You got to care for people. Oh, boy. Just not
what
good
a time
leadership
to be alive.
at all. Well, there you go.
Stay safe out there, folks.
Yeah. I didn't know postcards were that big of a deal.
I know.
Yeah. This is The Ramsey Show.
I say it all the time. If you're a business owner and you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. And when markets are shifting, it's even more important. You've got to know where you stand so you make your next move the right move. And you don't have to be in the dark here. Over 31,000 businesses, including my team at Ramsey, know their numbers because they use NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. NetSuite gives you visibility and control of your financials, planning, budgeting, and inventory so you can manage risk, get reliable forecasts, and improve margins. Having everything in one place has saved my team hours each week since we made the switch to NetSuite. NetSuite is a game changer. So head on over to netsuite.com/Ramsey to get a product tour today. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back, America. You have joined the conversation here on The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by George Campbell. We're Ramsey Personalities, and your host this hour. 888-825-5225 is the phone number. It's toll-free, 888-825-5225. Let's go to Memphis, Tennessee, and Braden is there. Braden, how can we help?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Just got a quick question for you. So me and my wife, we're 22 years old. We're in baby step 7.
Wow.
We don't have any debt. So we've been given a piece of land from my grandfather who left it for us. It's 100 acres, and we're wanting to build on it. So I've got $20,000 in my emergency fund, but then I've got about $50,000 set aside for the build that we're wanting to do. So I talked to the real estate agent, and he said we would look at getting between $250,000 to $275,000 for the house. So my question for you is, do I take out a construction loan to build this house for $315,000, $325,000, and then pay it off and try and sell my house when it's complete, and that way we have no hassle of trying to find somewhere to move and live? Or do we go on and sell my house now, find somewhere to rent for a year while we build?
What's your income?
About $115,000, $120,000.
Okay, that $325,000 loan sounds like a lot of loan for your take-home pay. Have you crunched the numbers on that?
Well, the reason that I would do that is because I would sell my house that I own now and put all of that money towards it.
Oh, that's if you sold it. You would still have to take out a $325,000 loan.
Exactly, yeah, and put down $50,000.
Oh, yeah, that's so you're talking about you're going to have to put $500,000 into this to build this house.
No.
I'm trying to track the numbers here.
No,
so I would get a construction loan for $325,000.
Yep.
Put $50,000 down cash that I have now, and which would leave me with $275,000 roughly, $250,000, and then I would, when the house was complete and it was transferred over into a mortgage, I would sell my house that I own now and take that $250,000 and pay my house off.
Oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. Well, when you listen, George, it does.
I mean, there was a lot of numbers being thrown around. I didn't know how much the house was worth when he said $250,000, $275,000.
I got your back over here, Braden.
Ken's tracking with you
Now
today.
we've got him caught up.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
I mean, that plan sounds good on paper if everything goes to plan.
I personally would do that. I think, George, and I want to know if you poke holes in that. I like the plan because the hassle of living and paying rent for a year instead of just staying in their house, they're going to sell it.
So you're saying a year from now you'd have paid for property?
No, it's already paid for.
The property itself.
If I built the house, it would be paid for when I sold my house.
That's what I'm saying.
He's going to have a paid-for house in a year and 100 acres.
That's a good deal.
Yeah.
That's a lot to manage. What else is going to go on this acreage here?
We have a lot of equipment that we inherited as well. So we just like to farm and raise
family
animals.
Farm. I love it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think you're walking into this with a lot of wisdom. I don't think it's wrong to go, you're in baby step 7. Did you guys get there on your own? I'm just impressed at 22 you have a paid-for house.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I was homeschooled my whole life, so I started working when I was 9. So my parents made me start a house fund
Goodness.
So we were able to put down a good down payment, and then we had $80,000 left, and we paid that off in 7 months.
Oh, yeah. That's even more evidence.
You are not scared of work.
Yeah. And disciplined, and very disciplined. I think this is a great move. I think this comes down, George, if it makes sense financially, which I think it does, this is also a much more comfortable process to stay in their current home while they're building and not have to make all that. It's a double move. If you're moving to a rental.
That worries me.
What's that?
The only thing that worries me is taking out this construction loan, and then which I know that it probably wouldn't happen. It's just the thought of the housing market going down or something like that, and then I'm stuck with the house and a $300,000 or $275,000 construction loan. It's just kind of, I know it's probably not going to happen, but it's just kind of scary to think about.
Well, I don't understand why you feel you'd be stuck with it, because it sounds like to me this is the end. This is where you guys want to end up and be, right?
Are you saying stuck with your current house?
No, I just mean back in debt. I just don't want to go back in debt.
Yeah, but you're going to sell your house.
Yes, I will. But I'm just saying, it's a scary thing to do. And, what if I get stuck with my house for, 6 months because it hasn't sold, which I don't think will happen.
Yeah, I get that.
The market is extremely hot where we're at. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Blue Oval, but it's a massive Ford factory coming in about 20 minutes from my house. And so we've actually already had a $275,000 cash offer, but we're just not ready to move. So I don't think that would happen at all.
I'm not as concerned about that. And we know the housing market over time, it's not going to shoot down where that current home goes from 275 to 200.
Yeah, exactly.
But here's the deal, my man. Okay? I mean, the answer to that fear is to go ahead and take on the inconvenience. And go ahead and sell it now. Take that $275 cash offer and then go move somewhere. I mean, you got options here. So if that's a fear, then you have a very viable option. And now you're sitting on a pile of cash and you're adding to it while you're building. So neither one of these moves is a bad move. What's your wife want to do?
She wants to stay in the house until we build, which is what I was leaning towards. I just wanted to make sure that wasn't unwise.
Now, I think what feels unwise is because you guys are going into debt after being completely debt-free, but this is a temporary stopgap, and soon when you get into this new house, it's going to be paid for as soon as you sell it. So it's a good plan.
Happy wife, happy life.
That's Ken's mantra.
Not
worked
mine.
out.
It's just good wisdom. All right, Amelia's up next in Buffalo, New York. Amelia, how can we help?
Hi, can you guys hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
Thank you so much for taking my call.
You bet. What's up?
So I recently refinanced my student loans with Splash, and I have $50,000 in debt and $20,000 saved. And I don't want to be Dave Ramsey-ish, but I have a lot of work and life situations going on that I just want to talk through before I put all that savings on my debt.
Okay, go for it. How can we help? What are we considering?
Yeah, so I currently work in cybersecurity. I'm fresh out of school, and that my annual income is $85,000. I recently found out, however, that this job that I got 10 months ago, the company has filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And so I have been applying online to other jobs, and I actually do have a standing offer that I'm supposed to actually go over with the HR manager today, but I just don't know with that variable, and I don't want to move companies so quick if I should hold on to the savings and wait till I'm in a new job, or just go ahead and, move that savings and actually pay off the debt.
What other expenses do you have coming up other than this kind of job scare that's happening?
Yeah, so on top of that, my fiance and I have been filing for his visa. He actually is from South Africa, and we're waiting for him to get here and arrive. So we have a wedding coming up to plan for, and then on top of that, I don't have any other debt. Like, my car is a beater car I've had throughout college, and I think it's going to die in 6 to 12 months. So with all those changes, I'm like, would it be better to take the cash and just park it in a high yield savings account and not, keep paying the loan off with cash flowing it, but don't, use all of that savings?
Yeah, I think it's wise to stock up some cash right now because you have a lot of change coming up. The job is number one, the wedding's number two, the car's number three, and so I think these dollars have a priority right now, and that's to get you through this storm. And once that's over, I just don't want you getting comfortable. And so don't go buy a $30,000 car. We're going to buy a reasonable used car to get us through. We're going to do a reasonable wedding and see if family can help pay for that so it's not all on you. We're going to make sure we have a stable income. And then once that's all settled, we throw it at the debt and get really gazelle intense.
Yeah.
Does that feel good, Ken?
It feels right. Great advice. Amelia, you got this. You got a great head on your shoulders. You're thinking through this the right way. Congratulations. Take that new job. Get out of that
I'm
dumpster
jumping off the
fire.
Titanic while it's sinking.
That's right. Let's get off of that boat. And you've got this. Thank you so much for the call. All right, folks. We got to take a quick break, but the great news is we'll be right back. Don't move. Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by my colleague George Campbell. We are here for you this hour, America. We're taking your questions on money. And how about your work as well? In a toxic environment, feel like you're being overlooked, rejected, you want to move up, make more money, side hustle income. George and I are here to help on that. George, by the way, George is obviously our resident money expert on the show today, but he's also very entrepreneurial. I don't think people know
a side hustle.
Yeah, you are very entrepreneurial. Great idea. So we'll team up today on any kind of work questions and money questions as well.
I've done them all, Ken. I did Uber, I did Lyft, I've built websites.
Yeah.
You name it. Flip stuff online. It's great.
Which do you like the most of all your side hustles?
Uber and Lyft were not my favorite.
I didn't think so. You like flipping stuff?
That's fun to me.
Give me an example of what you would flip.
You go to Goodwill and you look at things on the shelves and you go, that electronic, let me see what that's sold for on eBay. And you go, I could buy it for $2. It's selling on eBay for $25.
Boom.
So even after fees and shipping, you're still going to make $20. You go, all right, it's a good deal.
I like that.
So it's all about margin.
Yeah, you need a thrift channel on
There's
YouTube.
enough guys on the internet who
doing
living
that?
in their mom's basement doing that.
Yeah. See, I don't know
We're
these
busy
things.
over here.
I don't know these things. I don't spend a lot of time on the tube. You know.
Well, when you call it the tube, it definitely tells me you don't watch YouTube. No one calls it that.
I do, and I also call TikTok the talk. Oh, it's a thing.
You would crush it in a nursing home, kid.
I do it to irritate my teenagers.
And it works.
100%.
I love it.
So there you go. All right, let's get to the phones. Cheetah joins us in Orlando, Florida. Cheetah, how can we help?
Hey, so I'm just basically wondering because I was in baby step 2, so I don't know if I'm in baby step 1 again because, everything with the hurricane, I had to spend some of the money because I don't get paid until Friday. So I'm wondering, does that put me back in baby step 1?
Okay, walk us through what you're talking about.
You're going as fast as the cheetah right now. So walk us through what's happening.
Be quick, so I try to be quick.
Oh, okay.
So you've spent money because of the hurricane?
Yeah, because I didn't get paid yet. So I was working on paying off my credit card. So I paid off three out of my 8 credit cards, but then I didn't have money because of paying off my credit cards, and so I had to dip into my emergency funds to buy like water, extra dog food.
Okay, you have some supplies.
Yeah.
Okay, so how much money do you have in the bank?
$500.
Okay, so we're going to pause.
In the emergency fund. Let's
pause baby step 2. You're currently temporarily back in baby step 1 for probably a few days until you get paid, until we restock this thing to 1,000. Then we're back at it, crushing the debt.
Okay, cool.
So, I don't want you to have any fear here. Are you going to be safe from the storm? Have you been tracking it?
Yeah, I've been tracking it. It's Florida.
Okay. So how quickly can you get another $500?
Tomorrow.
There it is.
Great.
And you've already bought the extra dog food. So if you don't need it, make sure you change that budget too. Okay, so not only are you replenishing your emergency fund, you've got that extra stuff that you may not need.
That's true. Good point. And it's all, you're going to use this all regardless. Is there anything that you would return if, let's say, the storm passes? I didn't end up needing this thing.
Just like these little things of propane that were only like $10.
Okay. Just wanted to see if there was any room for you to go, you know what, I could get another $200 back returning these items I didn't use.
I made sure just to buy exactly what I would need to only buy what I would use.
Good. Fantastic.
Yeah, we would call that a literal storm mode, which in this case is a storm,
right?
Where you'd pause the baby steps, let's save up some cash to get through this, and then we're back at it.
Yeah.
So you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, good stuff. Thank you for the call, Cheetah. All right, next is Daniel in Phoenix. Daniel, how can we help?
Hi there. Thanks for taking the call.
You bet.
I had a question about credit cards. So, first of all, my wife and I got on the baby steps, kind of dragged our feet, did it our own way, but when we got on the baby steps, we paid off the debt pretty quick, so we're pretty much debt-free. We rent, but like I said, debt-free. The one question I would have about credit card usage, though, is for my employer, I routinely need to make purchases, and then I turn in an expense report and get it reimbursed. So I'm agriculture director at a small private school. A lot of the stuff's just, odds and ends, plumbing parts. I could do that with my debit card, but occasionally I do need to do some larger purchases, and we just don't have enough really saved up to do that right now. So what would be your thoughts on credit card usage of that kind of situation?
I would have the school.
Maybe another plan of attack.
I would have
poor planning on their part.
Yeah, they need to pick that stuff up. And if they want to do it by credit, they need to give you a credit card of theirs. You don't need to be carrying a personal credit card for this. It's not your responsibility. And it's a temptation to use it.
Have you talked to them about the situation?
Only briefly. Some of the administrators and people do have credit cards that the limit's fairly low because they're usually just doing things like, buying lunch for the students on outings and things.
Is this a specific store that you're buying from?
I got in with the Home Depot Rewards program just.
Yeah, what they can do is set up a corporate account with Home Depot, and that bills directly to the school.
Mm-hmm. Now, the other thing is, I'm buying like greenhouses and things of that nature. It's like a $5,000-$6,000 purchase.
This is a legitimate.
Yeah, but it
some
doesn't
of them
matter.
will invoice us.
Doesn't matter. You keep coming up with reasons why you need this credit card, and I'm telling you, it's the school. If they're reimbursing you, then this is silly for you to have to carry this personally. Have you thought about the risk?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons that I've been thinking.
What happens if you buy a $5,000
greenhouse
greenhouse and God forbid something awful happen, and the school, something crazy happens, and then you're stuck?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, what we do here at Ramsey is if you are in that kind of senior leadership, you would be issued a company debit card that you would use for those purchases. It wouldn't be expected for Ken to take that out of his checking account and then hopefully get reimbursed later. That's just bad business. So I'd have a conversation with them and say, listen, I'm not comfortable with this. I don't have the money to make these big purchases, and I don't want to go into debt for this. So we have to figure out another solution. And either they make a corporate account that bills straight to them, they issue you a debit card, or they give you the petty cash to go purchase it in cash. So there's options.
Okay.
Got it?
Just probably sit down with my business manager and talk about those options then.
Yes. And again, you lead with the fact that you don't feel comfortable assuming personal risk. That's your language. But can I be honest with you, Daniel? I don't think that you are leaning towards doing this. I think this makes mental sense to you, but you're like, okay.
Can you be honest with us? Are you benefiting from the rewards if you buy this $5,000 greenhouse?
I do. Yes, that's true. But that's, I realize how minimal that is. So
at 1% cash back. Yeah. Well, I hope you take the advice. I'm not convinced you will, but
I'm not either.
It's the right thing to do for your financial future.
No, it totally makes sense. I kind of hadn't thought of it completely in the wording that you guys were using, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we're not trying to be, use scare tactics, but this really is risky, George.
Yeah, I don't like that. I mean, these are big purchases.
Oh, my word. And to your point, if he's having to get, agricultural things, there's local supply companies that would set up, some type of purchase situation with the school.
The school has a bank account.
I know.
They are a business.
I know.
It's a private school.
I don't like it. I think it's laziness on the part of the school.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, go do it. We'll just figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Send us the receipts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
Yeah, you can't. And here's the deal. Talk about the temptation factor, right? Because of the points and all of the other things. So you're sitting at your house one night, and here comes the commercial, and whoever the latest celebrity is, what's in your wallet?
Jennifer Garner.
Is that who it is?
Yeah, Capital One. She's always
there's
talking that.
There's always something there where they're telling you to get your miles, double this, reward that, and
the temptation is, well, I can put it on my card. I'll get a free vacation at the end of the year.
Right. And so I'm going, hey, they're asking me to buy all these supplies. I'll keep doing it.
No. And if you're a business owner, please don't do that to your team.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable, puts them at risk, and I don't want to work for someone like that, truthfully.
Yeah, I agree. All right, good stuff there. All right, good hour, George.
Fun times.
Time flies when you're having fun.
We should do it again sometime.
Should we?
There's probably another one coming up.
I think there might be another hour coming up. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Hey, thanks to the team behind the glass who helps us stay on the air. Appreciate you fellows and you, America. Thank you so much for listening. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey folks, Ken Coleman here. Did you know The Ramsey Show is one of the most popular podcasts in the world? Get your daily dose of advice on life and money. Check out all of our shows from the Ramsey Network wherever you listen to podcasts. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios. This is The Ramsey Show. It's where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life, your money, your work, your relationships. I'm Ken Coleman. George Campbell joins me this hour. We are Ramsey personalities, and we are your hosts, your guides this hour. It is a free phone call to jump in. 888-825-5225. 888-825-5225. 5225. Tucson, Arizona is where Tiffany joins us. Tiffany, how can we help?
Hello. I had a question in regards to life insurance. So my husband gets 10 times his salary through his job, but we recently had a family member who got cancer and ended up having to quit their job. And with that, you lose your life insurance. So my question is, when you have employee-sponsored life insurance, should you have additional on the side? And if so, how many times your income should you get? I would also like to add, we do have a special needs son, so we have to keep that in mind when we're looking into future planning.
Oh, it's a great question, Tiffany, and clearly that family scare has led you in the right direction, and you're exactly right. I want you to have term life insurance outside of your employer for that exact reason. We don't know the future of his career if he leaves one day, and that puts your family in a lurch because guess what happens if he leaves 8 years from now? Well, now his term life insurance is much more expensive to buy 8 years from now than it is today.
Yeah.
And so I would get 10 to 12 times his income in a term life insurance policy outside of your employer, regardless of how much he has with his employer. Look at that as icing on the cake. That's the gravy.
Okay. All right. And if I could just say, I make my 13-year-old listen to this with me all day. So I just want to say hi to Natalie. I did call in.
Oh, that's sweet.
Oh, that's awesome. What's the name again?
Natalie.
Shout out to Natalie.
Shout out to Natalie. 13-year-old.
We need more 13-year-olds listening.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's how you turn them into adults right there.
Hey, Natalie, your mom is a rock star.
Absolutely.
Don't roll your eyes at her for at least a month, all right?
It's one of those you go, my mom made me listen to this show growing up, and now I'm a millionaire with a paid-for house at 30 years old. Gosh, so angry at you, Mom.
It's so true,
It's a good problem to have.
Oh, man, I'm trying to think of, like, these programs or things that I, had to listen to. It's a different world, you know what I mean?
You're telling me you don't go home and force your kids to listen to 3 hours of you on the show today?
Oh, my gosh. Are you kidding me? The kids already think I'm uncool and irrelevant. Well, do I need to give them more evidence?
Gosh.
You know?
I think you're so cool, Ken.
Thank you very much.
How do they not see it? I'll help them get there.
George, one of these days you're going to have some little camels, and then they're going to be medium-sized camels, and they're going to no longer think you're cool, no matter what you do.
I heard Will Ferrell's family doesn't think he's funny, and that gave me great peace.
I heard that interview. I think that was with, forget what podcast that was on, maybe The Armchair.
With Dak Shepard.
Dak Shepard.
Yep.
He did say that. He says, my kids don't think I'm funny. And I almost pulled the car over on that one. I was like, how can you not think that Will Ferrell's funny? But the positive of this is no matter what we get, we're very blessed to get to do things very publicly, and people say nice things about us. But when you go home,
humility is there for waiting for you at home.
Yeah, I've had people ask on podcasts before, like, how do you stay grounded? I have 3 teenagers. Nothing will ground a person like dealing with teenage problems, George.
They are like human gravity to you, Kelly. Just keep you on this earth.
I'll tell you what they are. They're human sinking funds.
Oh, that's true.
Recent data came out. You know how much it costs to raise a kid now? Have you seen this number?
I saw this. Was it
$300,000 is what they are estimating.
To 17, 18 years old?
To 18 years of age, it's going to cost you $300,000 per kid.
If that's not a reason to do these baby steps, I don't know what is.
That's why I bring it up.
That's per kid.
Per kid.
3 kids, that's $1 million.
Do you need to step out right now and call Whitney?
I'm having some heart palpitations. Second thoughts. I thought dogs were expensive.
How much is a French bulldog?
French bulldogs are probably close to that. They are born broken and very needy. Goodness gracious.
Born broken. You are going to get hate mail for that because there are a bunch of French bulldog loving clubs out there that are going to come at you hot on
Ken,
that comment.
You know what happens when you're purebred?
No.
You know what that means?
What?
You kept it in the family, and things start to go haywire in the gene pool there. So they're born with, hip dysplasia. They've got all spine issues.
Really? Both of your dogs?
The flat faces, the brachial, the breathing issues.
Well, everybody loves the faces.
Part of it is
Are
cuteness.
both of your dogs broken, or are they okay?
They're fine.
They got a clean bill of health?
They have their issues, but don't we all?
Wow.
It's fine.
All right.
Thanks for checking in on us,
All
Ken.
right. Hey, we're taking your phone calls, all right? Money calls. Maybe it's about paying for your dog's bills. Right?
We need more calls about dog ownership.
We need more calls about dogs and animals and things of that nature. Let's get to the phones. Huntsville, Alabama is where Tyler is. Tyler, how can we help?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Well, we're having a blast here, Tyler. What's up?
That's awesome. So me and my wife are sort of wondering. We finished our baby steps, did Financial Peace University, but I guess we're on our last step, and that's what do we do with our mortgage? So we just had our first kid about 2 months ago.
Oh, congrats!
Thank you. He's a fine young man. So we're trying to. We know we're going to move in the next 3 to 5 years. Our school zone isn't the best, but we live in a great neighborhood and everything. We're just kind of wondering: do we snowball our mortgage, or do we just continue putting in savings?
How much money do you have in the bank?
So we have about $40,000 in savings.
So that's plenty. That's probably beyond your 6-month emergency fund.
Oh, yeah. I hope so.
Well, beyond the 6 months, I would use any of the extra money to throw at the mortgage and pay this thing down. What's left on the mortgage?
$250.
Okay. And what's your income?
170 combined, give or take.
Love it. So the question is, how many years would it take making 170 to pay off 250?
So we averaged it up. We're putting about $3,000 a month in savings. So
what are you saving for?
That's a great question. I ask her that all the time. I don't have a say.
So Mama's deciding where the money's going.
Is this a security gland flare-up? Is that what's happening? She's going, we need more money. We need more money. What if something happens?
Yeah. Well, when she got started with the baby steps, it kind of just spiraled out of control. We became real conservative with our money. We started doing everything, and that's just the way life became. We got everything we want, it seems. I'd love a new truck, but, we vowed never to go back in debt over a vehicle again.
Well, you can pay cash for a truck.
Yeah, and that may come. So with the newborn, I've got a 4Runner, and it's great. It's newer. It won't have no issues and may hopefully last forever. But she's got a small Jeep, and it is not a kid-friendly vehicle. So,
well, let's upgrade Mama's vehicle.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at.
There we go.
So that's part of it. We balance these things out. We don't have to put every dollar onto the mortgage. We have to look at what our upcoming goals are in life, and part of that is upgrading the cars. And so let's do that and start attacking the mortgage. And how cool would it be 3 to 5 years from now when you move, you have a paid-for house, and you roll all of that equity into the next one, or maybe even pay cash. Start dreaming about that with your wife, and I think that will give her a little bit of peace about the future.
And you never know what's going to happen 3 to 5 years from now. So it's always a good strategy to keep paying on the house after you take care of these vehicle needs and stuff like that. So congratulations, Tyler. He seemed remarkably rested for a man with a 2-month-old.
I was impressed.
But as he said, he has a fine young man there.
Fine young man.
Congratulations on that. Hey, don't move. More Ramsey Show right around the corner.
Life is full of firsts. As the first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show, where we talk about your life, your money, your work, your relationships. He's George Campbell. I'm Ken Coleman. We're together for you this hour. The phone number is 888-825-5225. George, we've met thousands of people in our time here. And it's a pleasure to work with people. And we've talked to thousands of people on air. And it's always amazing when people have great accomplishments, like losing a bunch of weight or finding that dream job or overcoming mental health issues and moving forward. And that's why we love our SMART conference, where we have a full day where we look at all of those areas of life and bring people transformational content. The next SMART conference, very exciting. It's going to be here before we know it, George. Dallas, Texas, Saturday, October 22.
Less than a month away.
Wow. Are you wearing a cowboy outfit or anything?
I can't give any spoilers, but
there's going to be some fun things besides all of the great content.
It's our most entertaining event we do, on top of the most breadth of content.
Yeah, Ramsey personalities, Rachel Cruz, Dr. John Deloney, George Campbell, Dave Ramsey, myself, all on the stage to give you a smart plan for your money, your career, your personal growth, your relationships. Join us live in person October 22. Get your tickets before they sell out. RamseySolutions.com/events. RamseySolutions.com/events to reserve your seats today. Are we allowed to talk about one of the things that we're going to be doing as a group, all of us together?
Oh, we can tease it. I don't even know if it's official, but I like teasing it. Speak it into existence.
What are they going to do?
I don't know.
Don't do that again, Ken. I mean,
the team involved is not listening right now.
They're not listening,
so we're safe.
Well, we're going to be having a moment, a recreation of a very well-known game show. Is that enough? I'll leave it at that. One of the most popular, long-standing game shows. We're going to bring it live, all the Ramsey personalities together on the stage at Smart Conference. How about that for a setup?
I cannot.
The guys in the booth don't even care. They're not listening at all. James could care less. That wasn't even close to controversial.
He's muted us by now.
Yeah, he absolutely. He's running a best of right now. We don't even know what's happening. All right, back to the phones we go. Seattle, Washington is where Sydney joins us. Sydney, how can we help?
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for taking my call. I'm a huge fan of you too, Root Beer Float.
There it is.
Thank you, Sydney.
Sydney, may I ask, is George the vanilla ice cream or the root beer? Or am I of the root beer float? How do you break that down?
I say you are the vanilla ice cream.
There we go. That's what I called it. Ken, you're so smooth.
Well, we won't spend any more time on it, but she has spoken. The fans have spoken, and thus we go forward. Sydney, thank you for that. How can we help you, actually? How can we help today?
Okay. So just given the background I'll give you guys in a minute, I would like to know if I should sell my car and downgrade and add some of that money towards my upgrading my husband's car. So we just finished baby step number 3 as of last month.
Congrats.
Thank you. So everything is all paid for. So we're on baby steps 4, 5, 6 now. And our net income is about $240,000 a year.
Wonderful.
And yeah, so but given that, and now, I want to be intentional with our money, so saving up for vacations and things like that in our baby steps 4, 5, 6. But now I want to know if I should sell my car and downgrade my car and get him a better car, because he's had his car since 2011. It's running fine, but it's been having a lot of problems, so we have to fix it a few times now, and it's time for an upgrade. And
now, Sydney, hit me straight here. What's your car worth? And it's paid for, you said.
My car, if I sell it now, when I looked it up in Kelly Books, it's about $45,000.
Well, for your income, it doesn't sound like this is an issue. You have $20,000 coming in of take-home pay every month.
Right.
So I would rather you take control of that. Yes. It's not worth selling your car. Your car is not the issue.
Okay.
So how much
it's just
of that
a patience issue.
Yeah, how much of the 20 can we now set aside for his upgrade car? 5, 10,000 a month? 15,000 a month?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Well, which one? Like, what is the amount that you're thinking that you guys need to spend to upgrade his car?
If we sell his car, we'll probably get like $3,000. So I want to maybe like $30,000 car.
Great. Let's have that be the goal. How quickly can we save up $30,000, making $20,000 a month? The answer is a couple months. Right?
Yeah. But I want to save for vacations and things now, too, that we're out of debt.
Well, you can do that with a sinking fund in your budget. Are you going on vacation next month or 6 months from now?
No, probably more than that.
Okay.
Longer than that.
So let's say we want $10,000 6 months from now. We divide 10 by 6, and that gives us our number we need to save each month.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, once you save up and buy this car, you've now freed up all that money you were saving to go towards other goals.
That's true.
So this is a non-issue with your income. If you were making $2,000 a month versus $20,000, it would be a different conversation. You guys have an amazing shovel that all of your goals will happen very quickly because of that.
Okay.
So don't sell your car. Just use
we're
future
so
income.
used to being in a tight budget that it's like, oh, what do we do now?
We move from intense to intentional once you get to baby step 4, and that's what you guys are doing. So still follow a budget to a T every month, allocate those dollars, and the goals will change each month depending on what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
But those sinking funds should give you peace that you're not going to wake up and go, we don't have money for a vacation all of a sudden.
Yeah, you got this, Sydney. And congratulations on the discipline, the diligence to get where you are. Now it's just a slight change, not in the discipline, but in the outlook. And you guys can do this. So keep your nice car. My goodness. But what a nice lady, willing to downgrade her car for the hubs.
Wow.
I don't know.
Would Stacy do that?
I wouldn't want her to.
Yeah, agreed.
I wouldn't want her to.
I think the wives should always drive the nicer car. That's just a personal stance I have.
That would be true in our marriage. It was. Now we're in a situation where we both have, nice cars. But it was always like she was the one, and still is, she's the key Uber driver of the Coleman household.
Oh, yeah.
So, they got friends, But as we've said before on the show, when you have kids, and there's, I want to park here for a second because we get this call on a regular basis and people feel this pressure to have a super nice, super new, fancy car when kids start arriving.
Oh, yeah. Under the guise of safety and reliability.
Right, which, a 10-year-old car, there's, besides the 47 airbags, I'm sure they could prove and point to. But the point I always try to make with people is, once those kids are toddlers and they start getting snacks like Goldfish and Mott's applesauce and all that stuff, that's everywhere. Your super nice, fancy new car,
everything's just sticky and crunchy.
Is nothing more than a dumpster on wheels. Okay, this is. And I'm not trying to scare people out of kids, but
you're scaring me right now as an OCD, clean freak.
Are you aware of how much a kid can destroy a car in a 2-hour road trip?
Absolutely.
With the little the fruit chews. On a summer day, they drop them in the car. You go out.
I'm going to have plastic wrap all over the car just so I can just grab it all and throw it away after the road trip.
Right. So life hack. So my point is this. If I'm working through the baby steps, I'm going to get the most affordable, budget-conscious car possible that is dependable, that gets us from A to B, because the kids are going to destroy the interior of the car anyway.
But don't go into debt on a depreciating asset under the guise of reliability. An 04 Corolla is about as reliable as it gets.
It is.
The truth is they just want to look good while they're at it.
Yeah. Didn't you drive a Corolla?
I had a Civic, an 09 Civic,
a
up
Honda
until
Civic.
a few months ago.
Yeah.
I love that car.
What is the brand maker of the Corolla?
Toyota.
There it is, George. You've come a long way.
I'm learning.
Folks, 6 months ago, he would have said
Toyota. And the team made fun of me because of my speech impediment, I guess, is what you want to call it.
Stop it.
Hey.
That you do not. Don't you do that. You don't have an impediment. You just didn't know how to say it.
My parents aren't from this country, Ken. Okay?
Oh, boy.
I'm pulling that card now.
Hey, I'm out. I'm backing away slowly.
Caramel or caramel?
Caramel.
Close enough.
Yeah. There it is. Hey, those searing topics plus your calls coming up. Don't move. This is The Ramsey Show.
Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information.
Welcome back, America. You've joined the conversation here on The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by my colleague, George Campbell. We're here together for you. 888-825-5225. 888-825-5225. Let's get back to the phones. Bonnie joins us now in Huntington Beach, California. Bonnie, how can we help?
Hey, guys. Thank you for taking my call.
You bet.
I just have a quick question. Hopefully, I've been using the monthly budget app, and I just want to make sure I'm using this correctly. I've been using it for about 3 months.
Awesome. Are you talking about Every Dollar, our budgeting app?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
You got it.
Just want to make sure.
And yeah, no problem. And I got I able to allocate every dollar for each month that I'm expecting to receive, as well as allocate to each bill. However, my question is, what about the money that is there from the prior month? There shouldn't be any extra money that's not being allocated, correct?
Yes, you want it to be equal zero. Income minus expenses equals zero. So you're saying you are under budget in certain categories, and that creates a surplus?
Yeah, so that's where I'm misunderstanding is I know what I'm expecting every month, and I know what bills are going to be allocated for every dollar, and then I budget for every category. But there's other money around that I'm not sure.
So what categories do you have surplus in? For example, are you budgeting $200 for groceries, but you're spending $150 by the end of the month? And that leaves a $50 surplus?
No, actually, so I do that, but it seems like I need to make sure, because I'm only budgeting what I'm expecting as far as income goes.
So are you getting more income than you think?
There could be just residual money that's been sitting there from prior months. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. Well, you can allocate that to your next goal. So put a line item in your budget and throw that at your debt. Or where are you at in the baby steps? Are you paying off debt?
Yes, I'm baby step 2.
Great. Well, it's a good problem to have too much money versus not enough at the end of the month. So I would take that chunk of money and throw it at the debt, and you can put that in your budget line item as debt payoff.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see, maybe I should be able to get a full total of what I have in my account and then budget every dollar, because I'm just doing what I'm expecting as far as income comes in.
Well, do it based on what actually ends up in your bank account. So if you budget $1,000 for your check and it's $1,020, well, you can go in and adjust your line item for that piece of income.
Got it.
So it's that simple.
Okay.
Yeah. But you're doing great. I love that you're so hyper-focused and got this budget dialed in. That tells me that you are gazelle intense and that this debt's going to be paid off.
Yeah,
so way to go.
Really awesome. She is on her way.
And it takes about 3 months to get that budget dialed in. So don't give up. If you do it for a month and you go, I messed it up, guess I'm not meant for budgeting.
Yeah, and I like what you said. You got to remember that the budget is it's not an immovable object. It's a flexible. So if something changes, we have to change the budget.
Exactly.
All with the eye of making sure that we aren't spending more than is coming in. So great stuff, Bonnie. Appreciate the call. Abby's up next in Phoenix, Arizona. Abby, how can we help?
Hi. So my boyfriend and I went to see you guys when you guys came back in September 12th.
Oh, great.
Building wealth. Fun times. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, it was definitely a good time. And so he is the financial guru between the two of us. And so we're talking, he doesn't have any debt. So we're trying to get mine under control. And the subject of the 401k came up. And I told him I was contributing 10%. And so he told me, until my debt is under control, we need to stop with contributing to my 401k. He said, it's fine for right now, 0%, until we get it done. And so I changed it, and then I got a second opinion from my brother, and he's like, well, they match 4%. Why don't you just continue to put in that 4%? You haven't seen it anyway because you're at 10. It's not going to make that big of a difference. So
I'm curious, why go for the second opinion? Did you agree with your boyfriend? Because it sounds like you just disagreed and you wanted someone to validate what you think you should do.
I honestly didn't know, what was the best option. But my boyfriend kind of said the same thing where he said, no, 0% is the way to go until we finish everything. But if you feel 4% is what you need to do, then fine. He's like, but it's just going to continue to allocate, and we're going to drag on this process even more.
Oh, I get it. And, if you look to the culture, you get culture-like results. And we're all about living counter-culturally. And so you're right, it sounds crazy to go to 0%. When you get the 4% match, it's free money, right? That's what you're thinking. And that's what your brother thinks. And he's not a stupid guy, and you can do that, but you're not going to get out of debt as fast as if you pause to go down to 0. And it puts a fire under your butt because guess what? You want to go back to investing, don't you?
Yeah.
And so what does that do? It fuels your debt-free journey because now you're extra excited to get back to investing. Plus, you have a bigger pile of money to throw at the debt.
Right.
So you can do your plan and live your truth, but we have a plan that's worked for 10 million people, and I would encourage you to follow your boyfriend's advice in this regard and go to 0% for a short period of time. So how long is it going to take to pay off your debt if you went to 0%?
If I stay super focused by next December.
Next December. So we're talking a little over a year. You'll be completely debt-free? Will you have a fully funded emergency fund, or is that going to be another 6 months after that?
No, it's fully funded.
Are you working full-time?
Yeah.
Well, have you considered having a part-time job, maybe adding 20, 25 hours a week to make even more money, to make that December next year turn into maybe summer, maybe less?
I can pick up extra shifts at work, and so I've started to do that and see how much more we can add to it. So
good.
We
I love it.
Allocated it to about
Just consider that. Okay.
Yeah, set an aggressive goal and say, hey, a year from now, I want to be debt-free with a fully funded emergency fund, and I want to get back to investing. And when I do, it's not going to be 10%. It's going to be 15%. And that money compounded as a young woman over the course of your career, man, you're going to be in great shape. So this is the one time I say I agree with the boyfriend. It's pretty rare on this show.
Oh, really? Do you have a pattern of calls where you don't agree with the boyfriend?
Sometimes the boyfriends, they can be knuckleheads, but this guy's got a good head on his shoulders.
Yeah,
so keep him around.
Yeah, he's paying attention to the Ramsey plan.
She kept saying which I thought they had combined finances, but it sounds like he's just kind of acting as a financial coach.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I think he's doing. I think he's playing the long game. That's what I think.
You take a girl to a Ramsey event, next thing you know, you put a ring on it. That's how it works.
I think he's going, before I put a ring on it, I want to make sure that she takes care of business. Let's get rid of the debt. I think this guy's a very, very smart young man. Because we know that money issues contribute to a lot of divorce, right? If you don't see eye to eye.
Money fights and money problems.
Money fights,
One
money
of the top
problems.
causes of divorce.
Yeah.
You know what was encouraging, Ken, at the Building Wealth events we did all over the country, but especially in Phoenix, was how many young people there were.
I did notice that.
Our crowds tend to be, we're talking late 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. There were so many people in their 20s who have been listening for years.
Yeah.
And it gave me great, great faith in the current generations, the next ones. There are some amazing young folks out there who want to get on board, who want to do this plan.
I'm glad you said that. And I as a Gen Xer, middle-aged guy, I get a little weary of people, that have poo-pooed on the millennials for a long time. And now Gen Z, which is, in the workforce, they're in their young 20s.
These are not children anymore.
They're not. But I will also tell you that the younger generation, Gen Z in particular, is very, very conscious of the world around them. There's some really interesting trends just on what they believe about the world and human value, but then very financially aware and responsible. Not interested in debt. That's why you're seeing, in some cases, college enrollment, not in some cases, it's dropping dramatically. And these kids are looking at student loans. They're looking at what they've seen, what they've grown up with, and they're going, I don't know that I want that. And I think that plays into why you're seeing a lot of young people listen to the show. In a previous hour, we had a 13-year-old listen to the show.
That's right.
And these kids want a great future, and they see being able to be independent of anybody else and financially secure and independent. They see it as something that is really attractive. So you're right.
It's encouraging.
Good on you, young people. Thanks for listening. Feel free to call in. He's George Kamel. I'm Ken Coleman. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. George Kamel joins me. We're thrilled that you are with us. 888-825-5225. 888-825-5225. Let's stay right here, George, in our backyard, Nashville, Tennessee. Allison is on the line.
Going
Allison,
local.
How can we help?
Hey, thank you for taking my call.
You bet.
I just have a quick question about what to do with some side hustle money. So a little bit of background. My husband and I both work full-time and have salaries. We have completed through baby step 3, so we've got a fully funded emergency fund, no debt other than the house. So
Awesome.
I started picking up some freelance design work, and I'm making anywhere from $600 to $1,200 a week.
Nice.
So I'm wondering if I should then take a portion of that after I save, of course, a little bit of that for taxes. Should I do 15% of the side hustle money also towards retirement, or should I just take all of that and throw it towards the house and try to knock it out quickly?
I love it. I mean, if you look at this as extra money and not part of your traditional income, I love the idea of you getting intense on the house and throwing it towards that. If you guys are on track for retirement. Now, if you look up and you go, you know what, we haven't done a great job up until now investing for retirement. Let's use that money to max out the Roth IRA, to fully fund the 401k. I'm good with that, too. It's kind of a choose-your-own adventure at that point.
Okay.
Are you guys on track for retirement?
Sure. So We are both investing up to our match, which is 5% in our 401k. So the next step is to up that to 15%.
Oh, you're not at 15% yet.
No.
Okay.
So I'm saying with our salaries, we'll do 15%. But should I also do 15% of the extra money from the side hustle as well?
Yeah. I mean, I would say it's an option. And like you mentioned, if you really want to pay off this house, then it's totally okay to throw all of that money towards the house. And like you mentioned, I would set aside 35% for taxes.
Absolutely.
Because those will be a big shock, because you're making $5,000 a month of self-employed income, and the government wants their piece of the pie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
So maybe
it is set aside.
Yeah, you save that at the end of the year. You look up and we go, all right, we know what we're going to be paying in taxes. Or make sure you're doing quarterly estimated payments to the IRS. They love that when you're making this kind of side hustle money. And beyond that, I'd be throwing it at the house. And if you're on track for retirement, just use your salary to invest 15%.
Love it.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for the call, Allison. All right, Birmingham, Alabama is where we go. Chance is there. Chance, how can we help?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Hey, I had a question about starting a business potentially, and I don't know how many details you need. I'm 20. I just turned 29. My wife is 27. We are debt free, including our home. We got some money put back. I have many talents. I just don't know how to zone in on what I need to do.
As far as
currently,
you talking about a career or a business? What are we looking at?
Well, just starting a business right now. I'm in X-ray and MRI. I work in orthopedics, so I didn't know. I kind of have a feeling I need to start something, but I don't know what direction to go in.
Yeah. Well, let's do this. Yeah, sure. Well, I'm just going to kind of dig a little bit with you. So, have you had a few ideas that tend to kind of keep popping back up, and you're just not sure about them?
Yes.
That's where I want to start. What are the ideas, the business ideas that are maybe the top one or two? Hit me with them real quick.
I thought about going into plumbing potentially.
Okay.
I am a journeyman plumber. I'd have to advance to a master in order to go all the way with that.
Okay. What's the other idea?
I love flipping things, like buying and selling stuff too. Like I feel like I do really good in some area of that. I love helping people. I like seeing progress.
All right, that's what I want to lock in on. So we'll leave plumbing to the side, and we'll leave flipping to the side. And when it comes to coming up with a business idea, I work with a lot of people on this, and we start with, who are the people you most want to help? I'm going to ask you 3 questions. That's the first one. Who are the people you most want to help? The problem or desire that those people have, and then the solution or solutions to that problem or desire that you get most excited about. Now, when I walk you through that, your brain begin to visualize some things, and I want you to just tell me, describe the people that you would most like to help.
Okay. The people would be anybody, and that would be people that are looking for something. Like they're searching for, whether it be a car, whether it be, some type of, just something for sale that they're looking for. Somebody in need of something.
Okay. What do you,
whether it be a tractor, a car.
All right. We got to go deeper. Okay. Because the answer can never be anybody. All right. Because we don't start a business that serves. If I said to you, hey, I got a friend who's got a business, and you said to me, well, that's cool. So who does he serve? And I said, everybody. You'd be like, okay, that's not possible. Okay. You get it now. All right. So here's the deal.
Yeah.
Okay. If you want to get into sales, all right, if you want to sell something in the form of a product or a service, okay, you still have to get clear on what that is, and then that will determine the audience. So we can back into this with those 3 questions. So if you, tell me something that, I think I've heard the answer. I think I've heard cars, but something that you would get excited about bringing to somebody as a solution. You helped them get this, you'd feel pretty jazzed about it. What would it be?
A deal. I want somebody to get a deal on something. Like they they feel like they've got a good price on something. Does that make sense? I'm trying to answer the question, but I don't know.
Well, you're thinking too hard.
Maybe you said you heard it.
No, I think you're thinking too hard is what's happening here. I know. I can tell. You're a guy who's not lacking ideas. You're lacking decision. Like, I got to decide. I got to drop anchor. And so what you're speaking to is what I call mission, results that you are motivated by. You are motivated to serve people in a way that allows them to make a quality purchase. Quality meaning it's effective and it's cost effective, meaning it helps them and they got the best deal possible, and you are the conduit for that. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So that means you're going to be in the sales. I think a business where you are selling a product or service. So now your exercise, and I'm not going to make you do this on the air, but the exercise for you is to determine what product or service that you get most excited about, which is why I asked the question, the people you most want to help. So if you can go, well, Ken, man, I'm really excited about providing water relief, or when something floods or whatever, or I'm just making that up. But then we go, okay, well then who are the people that you want to help? Well, people who've had some type of disaster in their home and they're freaking out and they want to get a good person who they can trust, who isn't going to rip them off, is going to come in there and help them get the problem fixed. Do you see how I backed into that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So your exercise and your homework assignment, I'm going to give you some tools to help you. Okay. I'm going to give you my Get Clear assessment. Okay, which is very personal in nature, but it's a 20-minute assessment, selling like crazy at RamseySolutions.com. This assessment is going to allow you to see what you're most talented at, what you love to do, and then the results that motivate you. In other words, talent, passion, and mission. And it's going to fill out a purpose statement for you, and that's going to help you ideate business ideas based on that purpose statement. I'm also going to give you my best-selling book, From Paycheck to Purpose, which will help you in this process. But here's your homework assignment besides taking the assessment and reading the book. I literally want you to keep working through who are the people that my business would help the most. Make it real personal, even though we're brainstorming. What is the problem or desire that my business would help solve? And then what would be the solution or solutions that my business would provide? It's looking at the same thing 3 different ways, but it's where ideas come from. And you got to trust your heart that is throwing answers up at your brain, and you got to stop overthinking and coming up with all the reasons why one idea is better than the other. I think you got plenty of ideas. You got to listen to your heart, and your heart's going to tell you what you most want to pursue. That's, George, a very simple way for how people can begin to ideate on a entrepreneurial venture, because you got to care deeply about it, because it's hard.
And you can get the analysis by paralysis by analysis where you get stuck. You go, I don't know what to do, so I'm going to do nothing. So we have to act and figure it out on the way.
George Campbell, you're a gentleman and a scholar.
Wow.
Thanks for hanging out with me. To the team behind the glass, led by James Childs, our fearless producer. Thank you. Thank you, America. This is The Ramsey Show.
Do you love a good Dave rant? Want to see the latest Ramsey Show videos going viral? Check out your favorite moments from The Ramsey Show on YouTube. Go watch and subscribe to The Ramsey Show channel on YouTube.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios. This is The Ramsey Show. It's where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money, specifically your budgets, your debt, your work, your opportunities to maybe get that dream job and truly live and give like no one else. How about your relationships? We talk about life. Whatever you want to talk about, America, we're here for you. I'm Ken Coleman. George Campbell joins me this hour. 888-825-5225 is the phone number. That's 888-825-5225. Terry is up in Temecula, California. Terry, how can we help?
Hey, can you guys hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
Awesome. Pleasure speaking to you guys today. Got a quick question regarding kind of a difficult work conversation I'm going to have. I'm an insurance agent. I sell property and casualty, so auto, home, umbrella, that type stuff. And I just recently got my life insurance license last week. And so it's time for me to talk to my boss about, I don't believe in whole life or universal life.
Good
essentially
man.
in line with what you guys, kind of preach here. And so how should I have that conversation with my boss, and just kind of looking for some wisdom there?
Yeah. So before we talk about how, what's the point that you're going to be making? What's the very clear thing you want your boss to hear? Don't worry about how to wordsmith it. Just tell me point blank. Go.
Yeah, I just want to make it clear that I have no intention on ever promoting or selling universal or whole life insurance.
Okay, great. And are you required to offer or to sell it? And if you're talking to somebody, are you required? Is that something that they're making sure you do, or is it just one product in a buffet, if you will?
Yeah, it's just one product in a buffet, I would say.
So you're not required to sell it?
We offer term insurance as well. I'm not required at all to sell it, no. But, I mean, the expectation is there that I'm asking about life insurance and pushing that, which obviously I believe in life insurance, term insurance, but
I understand
the two.
Yeah, and I understand the expectation is there, and I'm leading to answering your question directly, but I'm trying to get true context here. I understand the expectation is there because it's one of the products on the buffet, if you will. Okay, but are they actively checking up on this and monitoring this? Is this something that you're going to have to confront sooner or later?
I think I will have to confront it sooner or later.
All right. So that's all I wanted to know, because to the point that it's not like an aggressive thing that you have to do, I wouldn't bring it up right now. But if you're going to have to deal with it sooner or later, then that's fine. But what do you think the reaction is going to be?
I'm honestly not sure. I've got a really good relationship with the agency owner, and it's a fairly small agency that I work at. There's 4 of us in the office, and, I am the top producer in the office as far as selling auto and home.
Great.
And so I'm not worried about like losing my job per se, but, I just want to make sure I'm going about the conversation.
No, I got an opinion. But I want to know one other question. So are the other products, so everything but whole life, are they as profitable for the agency as whole life, or is whole life more profitable?
Whole life is certainly the most profitable.
That's what I thought. All right,
yeah.
So you're going to have to make a business case on this. And when you go in, and I think you got to go in not with a posture of being indignant, but just go in and be humble and very clear. Hey, listen, just want you to know, I don't believe in this product. I'm not knocking you or anybody, but I just want to be up and up because I'm a number one producer right now. And I just want to be very clear because it's going to come up eventually why I'm not selling this. And I'm going to make the company a bunch of money. I'm going to make a lot of people very happy and take care of them, but I can't in good conscience sell whole life. And now what you can't do is get sucked into a debate. But if you've got a couple of key reasons as to why, you lay that out very clearly and then sit back, and it's almost like you're just gently pushing that plate across the table and go, this is how it's going to be. If you feel like you got to confront it now, that's the only way to do this. And let's just, I think the fact that you're a number one producer and the fact that you've got clear convictions as to why you won't sell it, I think it's that's all you can do. I don't know that there's any other way that you can handle that.
Got it.
How does that sit with you, Terry? I mean, you said this may go very smoothly. And he goes, all right, it's understood. You're not going to sell a whole life. And if someone's adamant about wanting it, you might pass it off to a different sales guy who goes, oh, my gosh, thank you so much. This is great. Thanks for the lead. But I love that you're sticking to your convictions and your values. And thank you for the insider tip. Now we can announce to America that the reason they push whole life is because it's way more profitable than term life.
That's what I was
right, Terry? Can you confirm that for all of us listening?
Yes, that is correct.
But Terry, now that I answered your question, I'm now going to challenge you. You okay with that?
Sure.
While we do not like whole life insurance at Ramsey Solutions, and we are very, very clear on our stance on that, the fact of the matter is you have chosen to work for an agency that sells that product, and they're not going to stop selling that product. I doubt that you're going to lay this out and he's going to go, Terry, you're right. As of today, we're getting rid of whole life as a product, and we're not going to sell it anymore. We're going to talk everybody out of it. Like, that's not going to happen, right?
Right.
So at some point, you probably need to be prepared to go out on your own or go with somebody else who doesn't sell this product. I'm just telling you. I'm not knocking you. I'm just saying this is a conflict here.
It's like working in retail, and they push the store credit card, and that's part of your job is you got to do it. And you have to say, listen, I'm not going to push the store credit card.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I'm working for you, but I don't want to sell your number one product. See, you're laughing. Because part of me would go, well, then go work somewhere else. This is our number one product. Right. So I don't know how it's going to go. I hope it goes well. But at some point, you probably need to go somewhere else, is what I'm getting at. That's what I think.
Right, exactly. And that is something that I have, thought about, eventually, like you said, either striking out on my own or going to, an agency or somewhere else that doesn't promote it, or with people who are more in line with my values. I've only been in insurance for about a year now. And this is the first agency I've worked at. And so now that I have my life license, the expectation is that I'm going to be selling the life insurance. And so I just wanted to have that conversation on the front end and get ahead of it.
Yeah. I love your integrity. But the what you laughed at is the point that you're going to have to deal with, which is it's like going to work for an automotive dealer. Is they sell one thing and you go, listen, I'm not going to sell this one. I'm only going to sell the used cars of the other make. Be like, what the crap are you doing here? Leave. So, understand that that's what you're going to be met with. And I understand that. As much as I disagree with whole life, I understand why they would react that way.
There's other insurance fish in the sea. And our friends at Zander Insurance, for example, don't sell whole life. And so there are companies out there who aren't going to push these products. So there's other options for you if this doesn't work out. But I hope the conversation goes great and you're there for a long time and you're very happy.
Yeah, there you go.
That's simple.
But hey, be prepared to move on.
Great reminder that whole life is a ripoff from the inside. You heard it here first.
George, you're so spicy.
Thank you.
Wow. Hey, more of that coming right up. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by George Camel, coming to you from our Ramsey Solutions World Headquarters. And I got to tell you, a great crowd in the audience today in the studio audience area, our lobby. It's a lovely place, and we give you free food. Free cold and hot beverages.
Baked goods,
yeah, it's a lovely cafe when you come in. It's our gift to you because we love when people come see us. So it's a reminder that we love when people stop by. Just go to RamseySolutions.com and you can check the schedule, and we'd love to see you. And so we love to gift our audience with that. That's something Dave, has made a staple here. And then sometimes people, nice people, give us stuff. We go out and twice an hour we take pictures, we sign books, and there was a lovely couple earlier today, George, missionaries from the Dominican Republic. And they just the team came in and they gave us some coffee. They both they gave you and I a bag each of some Dominican coffee. And you love coffee, and I love coffee. How many cups a day?
I'm a 2.
Yeah. I'm about 4.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All before 11 a.m.
If I'm not caffeinated, I'm irritated. I'll tell you that much.
So anyway, this is very nice. I'm holding a bag of Cafe Santo Domingo.
And we teach generosity around here, and sometimes we're the beneficiaries of that, and it gives us great joy.
So there you go.
It's very kind.
Very nice people. They did not tell us their name, so we're thanking them publicly. They were very humble about it, so thank you.
Come visit us. You don't have to bring us anything, we promise.
You don't have to, but
people do that for showers and birthdays. They go, guys, no gifts, no gifts.
Yeah, right.
But then you're the one guy who didn't bring the gift because everyone else brought one.
So you're the one saying no gifts. I say, hey, I'll take your gifts.
Ken will take it.
I know this. You bring food. If George won't eat it, James will. That
That's
guy's
true.
never turned down free food. Like ever. So there you go. All right, to the phones we go, 888-825-5225. Drew is on the line in Phoenix. Drew, how can we help?
Hey, good afternoon, guys. I applaud your hearts and your ministry. Thank you very much for what you do.
Thank you, sir.
Quick question. My daughter just got into med school. It's one of the more expensive ones that accepted her, so it's $90K a year.
Whoa!
She's worked real hard for the last couple years while she was making applications, and so far this is the only one that accepted her. So of course she said yes. She has about $25K in the bank. She has no debt. She lives at home. She drives a car that my wife and I have provided for her, as well as insurance and gas, and we gave her a credit card for spending money. We're doing everything we can to help her out. So I've encouraged her to not use her $25K towards her school, but just to use it towards de-stressing wherever she needs to. And I just was kind of wanting to throw that at you to make sure I'm not giving her horrible advice here.
Well, I heard you mention that you got a credit card for her to cover expenses. Yes. What's that about?
Okay, so I like I said, I applaud your ministry, and I agree with every bit of it. The credit card thing, my wife and I have a credit card. We pay all of our bills with our credit card and get the airline miles out of it. And every month we have a zero balance on our credit card. So we're I don't know if that's considered double dipping, and I understand why you can't encourage people to do it who can't keep a zero balance, but that's just the way it works for us.
Okay, but you can do your plan. That's fine. You don't have to agree with every bit of what we teach. But for your daughter, to give an 18-year-old a line of credit who is already broke and say, just use it when you need it, that turns into $5,000 of credit card debt real quickly. And I say that because I was that guy. Okay. And so that's my worry for her.
She is not that guy. She's 25 at this point. Like I said, it's taken her a while to get in. She has no debt. We've paid for.
She's about to have a whole lot of debt, isn't she? $360,000.
Yes, she is. Yes.
Have you run that number, Dad, through your head? Have you really thought through the amount of that debt and how crushing that is, and how long that's going to take her to pay that back?
I don't know what the other option is if her passion is to be a doctor.
But this passion didn't start today.
That.
The last 7 to 10 years, were there conversations about, hey, I want to go to med school. What's that going to cost? Coming up with a plan of how we're going to try to pay for that. Have you guys saved up at all to help with that? Has she been working to save? It sounds like this is just, you woke up overnight and went, all right, we're going to go $360,000 in debt for med school, and it's the only option.
That's a valid criticism.
But can I push back to? So here's the deal. There's really no answer to that. So the issue is that this is the only school that she's gotten into for a variety of reasons.
Correct.
But it's not the only med school, and I can guarantee you it's not the best option for her because of the sheer cost. Do you remember the last time you went to the doctor? You got a ballpark idea what that was? Remember that?
Yes.
Okay. Did you at any point before the doctor examined you ask him or her to show you their diploma?
Where they went to school?
Yeah.
Nope.
Why?
They pre-qualified with credentials just by having a place.
But you trusted that just because they have a doctor's office? You just went in there and you trusted your body to them?
Well, obviously with consent to everything they were saying, yes.
Right, okay. But you see where I'm going here? Nobody cares, Drew, where your daughter gets her medical degree from. So I would say if she can get into the most expensive, most prestigious med school, then she can certainly get into the other ones. And it's time to redial up and go, okay, I'm not going to spend $90,000. I'm not going to go into debt $90,000. I'm going to go to a place and I'm going to see if I can get it for half that. And then I'm 25. I'm a grown woman, and I'm supposedly so responsible that she can make the money and cash flow her way through it. She's already got 25 in the bank.
So while she's in this med school, your recommendation would be for her to keep applying to other med schools?
No, I'm telling her not to go to this med school. I'm telling her to reapply and bust her tail and buy the truth, not the myth, that the medical school that you go to is any indicator of your success.
Yeah, again, that is not part of the equation. The equation, as you said earlier, was just that.
Why is it not part of the equation?
The one she applied to. Because it's the only one that accepted her.
Yeah, but my point is why? I want to dig into why was that the only place that would take her?
Was it because of her scores?
It's not her scores were average and above.
So the most expensive school takes her, but the other schools won't?
You know what? It was a shock to all of us.
I just don't think it's the whole story, Dad. But I'm just giving you real advice. I just don't buy it. Let me give you another perspective on this. I've got some friends who had to take the LSAT. I've got multiple friends who had to take the LSAT to get into law school multiple times. And where there's a will, there's a way. And they finally got in and they did it. And I don't buy the narrative that this is the only option for her to go into $360,000 worth of debt. So I'm challenging that, George.
Yeah. It just still feels like we haven't talked about this enough, and I want you to sit down with her. You said she lives at home, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to help start this conversation and gift you guys Borrowed Future, the documentary.
Yes,
so hang on the line. Austin's going to pick up, and we'll get you a link to watch that and a code. And here's all I'm asking you to do. Sit down with her this weekend. It's 88 minutes. Watch this documentary and have it spark a conversation. And you don't have to hope. It's going to spark a lot of questions because there are some heartbreaking, real stories. There's some inspiring stories. We uncover how the college system really works, and it really puts a bad taste in your mouth about the whole education system. And there's a lot of villains in the story, from the student loan companies to guidance counselors to parents who are out of control. But it breaks it down in such a way that it's hard to argue that going $360,000 into debt is the right path for anyone.
Or the only path.
And what happens if she doesn't graduate? What happens when she's in residency and can't pay the bills? And all of a sudden the dream becomes the nightmare, and she can't buy a house, she can't start a family, she can't have kids. That's where we're leaving this generation, when we're putting them hundreds of thousands of dollars into student loan debt to reach the dream.
Which becomes a nightmare is the irony. And well said, George. Borrowed Future will show you the scary part of the back end of this.
Every parent needs to watch this with their kids.
So true.
Required reading and watching.
Thanks for the call, Drew. Hang on. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show, America. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by my colleague, George Camel. We are thrilled that you are here with us. We want you to find out for yourself why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Make sure that you use the promo code Ramsey to get the best deal.
Today's question comes from Brian in Texas. I'm 21 years old and I make $60K. I've been informed that if I stay in my current position for just under 2 years, I'll get a raise and make $80K. Should I stick it out here and continue for the 2 years to get the raise, or should I continue to look for a better paying position from a different employer? I'm saving for a home and I'm trying to figure out the fastest way to reach that goal.
It's a good question. And in a trade like this, as a technician of some type.
He just said master. He'll be a master technician.
Yeah, he mentions
eventually.
that in the bigger question. And so this is some type of a trade. And so what you've got to make sure of, Brian, is that you don't leave an opportunity to move up long term. If you go somewhere else, and let's say that you're making 60 now and you go somewhere else, George, and he makes 70, but it's not as a good a long-term prognosis by staying with his current company if they're going to help him be that master tech, and then he's going to make that money, and he sets himself up to either run his own business one day is what we hope. So I'm okay with him leaving to get more money faster if he's qualified to do so, and it still sets him up for his long-term goals to be that master technician. So that's the answer there. And you see this a lot. Young people, they really want that house, and they want to try to do it as soon as possible, but sometimes we can try to do something too soon, and it hurts us in other areas.
Yeah, and you can't microwave this experience. And so if this company is paying for this training for him to become a master tech, and he loves this company, I would stay there, and the kind of part of the bonus there is after 2 years, you'll get this nice raise.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad deal.
Yeah. Have you ever wanted to hear the most popular calls that we take here on The Ramsey Show? Or
Yes.
do you love a good rant from Dave?
Yes.
We all love
Those
that.
are all rhetorical so far.
Yes. If you want to listen to our take on current events, if you want to see and hear the best debt-free screams that people love the most, we've got a new limited series titled The Best of the Ramsey Show, where you can get all those things and more. We hit on the current real estate market, investing, and how to take control of your life and money and your work in these crazy times. You can find these special episodes on the Ramsey Show YouTube channels or on Spotify. Just search for The Best of the Ramsey Show, The Best of the Ramsey Show on YouTube or Spotify. You won't regret it. Check it out now. All right, to the phones we go, 888-825-5225. John joins us in Phoenix. John, how can we help?
Yes. How are you doing today?
We are having a blast. What's going on?
Well, I'm looking to purchase my first home on minimal credit history.
Okay.
George is your guy.
I love these conversations. It's what wakes me up in the morning.
Oh, really?
That and coffee.
Well, give me some advice here.
What do you mean by minimal credit history?
Well, I've only had 2 credit cards. And I'm 42 years old. I've only had 2 Fortin credit cards. One, unfortunately, is on my credit right now as a negative for about $600. And the other one I opened up in April as a secured credit card for $300. And since I've had that, I have paid half my balance off 15 days prior to my due date, and then the remaining balance 3 days prior to my due date.
Okay. And where does that leave you with a score? Have you been checking your score?
I'm at about a 585 right now.
Okay. How much debt are you in total?
Probably about $1,600 total, not including medical bills.
Okay. How much are the medical bills?
Medical bills is probably about $5,000-6,000.
Are you current on those, or are they in collections?
They're in collections.
Okay, because we're going to have to clean those up too, because all of this is dinging your credit history, which is not going to be fun going to a mortgage lender saying, hey, will you please lend me money?
Okay.
And so I'm less concerned about getting your credit score up. Is that kind of your question? How do I get my score up so that I can qualify for a mortgage?
Not necessarily. I mean, I want to kind of avoid the sharks out there that just want to eat people up and try to sell them something that they can't afford. And my wife's a cancer patient, so I take care of the family on my own, and I make about $88,000 a year with my bonus included. So I'm just trying to find something because our lease is up in March of next year. And if I go rent, I'm going to be paying over $2,000 a month and paying for somebody else's mortgage instead of paying for my own. And
I don't buy into that mantra. I think renting is buying patience, and I think it's really wise to do. And clearly you've already been bitten by the sharks because you're sitting here in a pile of debt that's affecting your credit history. And so my A1 for you is to pay off all of the debt, and that means negotiating with the medical bills if they're older. If not, we just got to scrape the money together to pay those off and get the $1,600. I mean, you make $88,000, and you're telling me your total debt comes out to about $6,000 or $7,000?
Correct.
So we can pay this off in a few months. If we're on a budget, we're pausing investing, we're getting gazelle intense, we're doing whatever it takes to get this debt out of our lives for good.
And George, I've got a question on behalf of John. If he doesn't clean this up, he's not going to have the option of a mortgage.
No, you're not going to qualify.
Renting is all he's got. Or if he did, it would be such a horrible rate and horrible terms. So I just want to make that clear. Renting is his only option until he gets this cleaned up.
If I'm in your shoes, John, here's what I'm doing. I'm going to pay off all of my debt within the next 3 or 4 months. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah.
Okay. After that, you are completely debt-free. We're going to get a fully funded emergency fund in place. Do you have any money in the bank right now?
Right now, I have about $14,000 saved, and within the next couple weeks, I'll have another $11,000 to add on to that.
John, why aren't we paying off the debt today?
Because I was saving up for a down payment on the house.
We're not ready for that. That would come later on after we're completely debt-free and have the fully funded emergency fund in place. So I know we're excited about the home, but right now we're trying to do 7 things at once and we're not making progress. And on top of that, the down payment money's no good if you can't get a loan.
Correct.
And so
you can't
follow
get
the
the
plan
loan.
to a T. Here's what we're doing. We're paying off all the debt today. You have the money in the bank, and you're going to have some left over. Then we're going to restock that emergency fund to be 3 to 6 months of expenses. And then your credit score over time, over the next 6, 9, 12, maybe 18 months, worst case, will become indeterminable, to where the mortgage company is going to try to pull the score, and they're going to say, we can't find one. John is invisible, just like Ken was in high school to girls. There you go.
Well
Got
played,
him, John.
George.
Got him.
Well played.
And so this may be a longer-term game, but guess what? That 18 months that you're sitting there gives you a lot of time to save up that down payment, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
And now this home can be a blessing instead of a curse when you get into it.
Okay.
So we have to reset our vision for what that future looks like, because you were excited to get into a home, by March, once this lease is up. But now it's looking like, okay, we're looking at end of 23 before we're even close to ready. And so I want you to walk into this with wisdom. Obviously, you guys have been through a lot. You guys are warriors, man. I'm proud of you guys. But I want you to focus on one thing at a time so that you feel the progress, and so that when you do get into this house, you breathe easy. And you can afford the mortgage very easily. It's a quarter of your take-home pay on a 15-year fixed, because you had the diligence to get rid of your debt so that you had your greatest wealth-building tool back in your life, your income. Do you feel the peace that brings you?
Definitely.
Okay. And you can go check out my episodes of The Fine Print. We did one on the credit score. We did one on the housing market and what that looks like. And I talked to an actual mortgage loan officer who talks us through what it looks like to get a house without a credit score. And I speak from experience, John, because I've done this myself. No score, and I got a mortgage. It's possible, and it didn't kill me. Ken, I'll tell you, a lot of people go, well, it's so much harder, and your interest rate's going to be... Nope, ran those numbers too. And if you put at least 10% down, you do a 15-year fix like we teach, your mortgage interest rate is just as good as someone with an excellent credit score. So let's put that one to bed too while we're at it.
And to bring your jab full circle.
Can you tell him a little
Just
fired
like
up about
John.
this, Ken?
I matured. I developed into a small-sized man.
Wow.
And married a beautiful woman. And
You
he's going
did.
to have a beautiful house.
It turned out great for
It
Ken.
did. So you got to...
You got to sell the end of the story.
You got to go through the desert, baby.
Wow.
You
There was
know?
some silver lining on that one.
Well, I had to bring it full circle, George.
Thank you.
I'm still wincing in pain from that jab.
I'm sorry. Usually I make fun of myself, but I thought, let's try Ken today. You can take it.
I can handle it. I thought it was well placed, sir.
Thank you.
Well placed. Hey, John, you got this, man.
You can do it.
The best is yet to be. Don't move. More Ramsey Show coming right up. Welcome back to the Ramsey Show, America. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by George Campbell. Thrilled that you are with us. Our scripture of the day comes from 1 Thessalonians. George, you got to say that one slow. You can't rush into that.
Thessalonians.
There it is. 1 Thessalonians 5:11. Therefore, encourage one another and build one another up, just as you are doing. And we were doing that during the break. We were saying nice things about each other.
We were.
Yeah, it's very
After I ribbed you in the last segment.
Yeah, it was all good.
We came back.
Good-natured ribbing. Our quote from Tony Dungy: look for opportunities to share a word of comfort and grace with someone today, perhaps through a story of what God has done in your life. Hey, I want to remind you, if you enjoy the show, please consider subscribing, leaving a review, and sharing it with a friend. The show's growing, bringing in new people all the time, and that helps us. So thank you if you would do that. Subscribe, review, and share. and we will be grateful for it. All right. 888-825-5225. Joe is up in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Joe, how can we help?
Hey there, guys. My dad recently offered to buy me and my wife a new car, but he would be leasing it. I'm just really calling in to see, should we accept it? And if we did, how do we go about that?
I don't like almost anything about the situation. That's a weird form of generosity because you're putting him into debt. Is it in his name and you're just driving it? Is the title in your name and the loan's in his?
So the title would be in his name. And he would just be giving it to us, and we wouldn't have to make any payments.
Oh, no.
This is just haywire, man. I would not accept this. I'd say, hey, appreciate the generosity. It's very kind of you, but this is going to put you in a precarious situation, and we want to own whatever we are driving, and we want it to be in our name, and I appreciate that. If you want to gift us, if you want to write a check to help us purchase a new car in cash or a used car in cash, we would love that, but we don't want you going into debt and robbing your future for this gift. That's how I would put it as nicely as possible.
Yeah, okay.
What would he say to that?
Well, I told him that, and he just replied back to accept it and to just to accept it. So me and my wife have just been talking about it. There's nothing real. It's more of just in the talks, but no, my dad. It's very possible it could happen, and so.
How's he doing financially? Is he like in an amazing spot, or would you say?
He is. I think he's in a good spot, but. Now, managing his finances is another thing. So I think that's why it makes me worried.
Yeah, listen, how old are you?
I'm 22.
Dude, you're a grown man.
Yeah.
Like that whole knowing my dad is going to happen and you're just resigning yourself to it. And if you called us for permission, we're not going to give you the permission. If you called us for verification that what you were feeling is correct, that he shouldn't do this, and you don't want him to do this, then you are in fact right. And it's time for you to man up and say, Pop, I don't want it. I'm not going to take it. And here's the reason why. Thank you. I'm very grateful. This is not a good financial move for you, and I don't want to be a part of it. I don't need it.
Yeah.
Do you have a car right now?
Yeah, me and my wife both have 2 cars paid off.
And they're fine.
Yeah.
Are you needing to upgrade one?
No, I would love a truck, but we don't need one. So
now let me just say this, Joe. You can't stop your dad. If he goes out and puts a lease in his name, but you don't have to drive it. You can say, hey, I told you not to do this. I'm begging you not to do it. I'm not going to drive it.
And then tell him you're going to have to pay the stupid tax because you're going to lose money on this deal after you have to get out of the lease.
Right.
And I don't want that for you.
What do you think is motivating this, Joe?
I think a little bit of it is that whenever I was growing up, him and my family weren't at the place that they're at now financially. Uh-huh. And so I think now one of the things that plays into it is he wants to, kind of, I guess, give me something we didn't have growing up.
Yeah.
Even though I wouldn't have had a truck growing up. But yeah.
I would acknowledge that when you tell him. Say, hey, I appreciate what you're doing, and it's awesome, I don't regret anything. I don't resent you. I would add some of that to this conversation. And if he wants to do something smaller for you, say, hey, there's other ways that you could bless us that I think are much more financially responsible. Maybe a Jello of the Month Club. I don't know.
Is that a real thing?
The gift that keeps on giving. Isn't that from Christmas Vacation?
Nobody wants that gift.
No, nobody does. It's my point. You don't need to bless us, Dad. You don't have to give us something. Do you know what I mean?
Tell him you raised me to be independent, and I'm a grown man now, and I want to do this on my own and own it and really feel the ownership. And I feel like if you gift it to us, we're not going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And so if you want to write us a check later on in life that can help go towards that truck, I'd love that, but...
Yeah.
No pressure.
Yeah, just take the you don't have to do this, Dad.
Yeah.
And that I think hopefully comes from a spirit of gratitude and humility, and hopefully that'll work. So tough stuff, though.
Yeah, appreciate the call.
Yeah,
thank you.
That's a dad who means well, but creates a really awkward situation, and then obviously a bad financial situation for himself.
Well, how many calls do we get where the kids are going, hey, my parents didn't take care of themselves financially, and now we have to?
Right.
And that's what I see in the next 20 years for this guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to Jacksonville, Florida. Gary is there. Gary, how can we help?
Yes, sir. Hi. This is a first-time caller.
Thank you.
I'm just on the back patio right now, working on this generator, getting it ready just in case the power goes off.
Hey, me and Ken have been there, man.
Yeah, we just don't know exactly what the storm is going to do yet.
Well, I hope you guys stay safe. Is it in your path?
Yes, sir. Yes. It's supposed to be up in this area sometime tomorrow.
All right. How can we help? We don't want to take you away from that generator.
Yes, sir. I'm 61 years old, and I'm actually going to a financial advisor next Friday. But I'm wondering if I should just. I'm thinking about retiring the next year and a half, 2 years, and I'm wondering if I should just go ahead and take the money out, go ahead and pay my taxes up front, and be done with it, and be done with the stock market. What should I do?
And that's a great plan if you plan on running out of money in the next 10 years. Do you plan to live past 70? I hope so.
I hope so. Yes, sir.
I would leave that money in there growing.
Gary, don't do that. You're afraid because you see the stock market news every day.
Gary, let's say you live to 90, right? That's a high possibility.
Yes, sir.
Over the next 30 years, do you think the stock market is going to be in a better place than it is today? 30 years from now, looking at the track record of the last 30 years.
It should.
The answer is yes, unequivocally.
Yes.
And so what happens is if you stay invested in the stock market, that money is going to grow and you won't drain the principal. Because what happens is when you cash out today and you start withdrawing to create an income for yourself, that money is just sitting there flat instead of growing. And that's how people run out of money in retirement.
Yeah.
So I don't want you to be fearful. I would contact a SmartVestor Pro. Don't just meet with any old financial advisor. And they will help talk you off the ledge, show you the charts and graphs, and show you what the next 30 years will look like if you leave your money in.
Gary, here's the deal. You haven't lost any money. I know that you're looking at your statement and the value has dropped, but you haven't lost it because you haven't pulled it out. And let me just tell you, the stock market, as you know, is a big money game. And I'm telling you that there's a lot of money on the sidelines right now because of recessionary issues, inflationary issues, all the stuff that's going on. And the people that are big money in the stock market that drive the price, the ups and the downs, they've pulled their money out for a season. They're going to put it back in. And every month when you are contributing to your 401k, you are buying stocks and everything you've had so far at a great discount. And when it goes up, you are going to cash in, Gary. So hang on.
Don't
Stay
jump off.
on the roller coaster. Nobody gets hurt unless they jump off. Hang in there. Be safe. Take care of that generator. Hope the storm doesn't hit you too hard. Hey, George Camel, great stuff.
Good stuff.
We're shaking
first
hands now.
handshake ever on air. I love it.
To James and the crew behind the glass, you guys rock. To you, America, we do the show for you. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey folks, Ken Coleman here. Did you know The Ramsey Show is one of the most popular podcasts in the world? Get your daily dose of advice on life and money. Check out all of our shows from The Ramsey Network wherever you listen to podcasts.